Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today with another review for a Stephen Graham Jones book, which is part of a collaboration that is led by Amanda from the Reading and Writing Life. If you haven't seen any of those, there's a playlist down in the description with all the reviews that have been done by multiple booktubers. Huge shout out to Amanda for organizing this. It is really interesting to see the breadth of books Stephen Graham Jones wrote. And today's review, if we can call it that, is going to be an interesting one. So I'm going to talk about The Bird Is Gone Manifesto by Stephen Graham Jones, which is, and I apologize, this book is incredibly glary, so I don't know, no matter how I hold it, it's glary. This is the third book, I think at least the third, or definitely one of the very early books that Stephen Graham Jones wrote. And it's not what I was thinking it was. So maybe we don't call this a review, more something like explaining my reading experience. So bear with me on that one. The problem is that I'm not sure how I should review this book because I don't think I understood it. And before you turn off and say like, what is this for a bogus thing that you're doing, Josephine? Let me explain. So I'll start with telling you what this book is about, what I read about this book, and let me read this first, and then I'll tell you why I was really intrigued and why I'm now so confused. Part murder mystery, part Declaration of Independence, The Bird Is Gone, a manifesto takes Native American writing where it has never gone before, into a future where the Dakotas are Indian territory again. The traditionals now cling to their microwaves, while the progressives live on the grassland with the buffalo. Inside a bowling alley called Fool's Hip, Special Agent Chassis Jones is questioning Nikolai about 39 tourists who have gone missing. Everybody in the place is listening. Mary Boy, the Jesus tattoo on his arm still bleeding. Cat Stand, about to peel off her last undershirt. Back Iron, checking the run in his nylons, and LP Deal, who, in spite of the all-skin tournament underway and the swarm of anthropologists in the border, is writing it all down. What I was thinking is that this is more kind of like a dystopian-ish book where kind of history is turned on its head and we're getting something, you know, where we kind of think through what would the world be if Native Americans would have never lost their land, something like that. And what I got was a drugged up whodunit. So I got the part with the bowling alley. I got the mystery part. I got that the book was written from the view of that special agent Chassis Jones, and she was telling us, you know, about the people in the bowling alley and kind of what she was trying to do. And I think she was undercover while doing it, but that was kind of it. Why I'm so confused is because the writing is completely incoherent. The sentences are long and kind of convoluted. One of the chapters doesn't even have zero punctuation. It's like a long thing end to end, like a humongous sentence over 20 pages or something. I mean, technically it is individual sentences and you can see that there should be punctuation. There is just none. Then you have the main story and it is interrupted with shorter stories that I don't know if they actually have anything to do with that main story. Some of them kinda, I think, but not all of them. And then the plot, you know, when you read a mystery or any book really, you kind of have a, you know, straightforward plot. Even if you jump around in times or whatnot, you can kind of follow the plot because things are stated. Nothing is explicitly stated in this book. The way Stephen Graham Jones describes this story is kind of, he mentions weird random things and then there's a lot of reading between the lines that you have to do, or I don't know, guess what happened while it was not explained. I'm telling you, that was my reading experience. It's really not a review of the book. It's really more like, this is how I felt while I was reading the book. Do you know the movie Trainspotting? Like, if you know that movie, that's kind of how I felt with this book. It was kind of like a whole bunch of things that were explained and that we went through from a plot perspective, and I can't even explain it really. Yeah. This book is definitely on another level, and I know that I was the one not understanding it. I don't think it's the book just being random. Not at all. I think there is some sort of bigger picture. There is a story that we're supposed to get. I just didn't. And I would love to have someone, Stephen Graham Jones himself, or anyone who actually got the story to explain that to me, because I am actually really curious to understand what it was that I just read about. I'm embarrassed to say, but I just didn't. Having said that, though, and now that I had a couple of days to reminisce about the book itself and the stories itself, I actually really like those interludes that we had, because they felt a little bit like Native American, like myths, mythology, fairy tales, kind of like that aspect. Stories that are being told. That was really interesting to learn more about the heritage. And even the pieces from the main story, the ones that I got about the characters and about the plot itself, I found actually really interesting. So just as an example from a character perspective, they are identical twins that look alike. One of them is a transvestite though. But if I understood that correctly, they'd like to mess with people by switching roles every now and then and messing with people on thinking, hey, this one is the one twin, even though they just switch roles and it's the other. So yeah, as I said, I'm sure there's a bigger point to this book, and I'd love to get it. I just didn't. And that's why I think this is definitely not a book that you should read if you're a Stephen Graham Jones newbie. What I think would help is once you've read a couple of Stephen Graham Jones book, which I haven't, right? I've only read a short story, as you've heard in my review from a couple of days ago. What I assume is once I've read a couple more Stephen Graham Jones books, short stories, novellas, whatever, that I'll get a better idea of how he usually paints the pictures of the stories. And if I would then reread it after I read, I don't know, a couple of books, I'm sure I would get a better understanding of what this was about. Anyway, if you are a seasoned Stephen Graham Jones reader and you haven't read this book, I'd love for you to give it a try and let me know if my theory is correct of, hey, if I read a couple more and I understand how he tells his stories, or that I would then maybe better get what this story is about and what I was supposed, or how I was supposed to approach it. Apologies for the non-review. Definitely go check out the playlist for all the ones that have been before, which is 19 in total. And definitely come back tomorrow for the review from Crystal from Fiber Artsy. And any day after in June for any of the following reviews that are still being put out there. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, thanks Amanda for putting together this amazing collaboration. It was a lot of fun, and I'm definitely excited to read more Stephen Graham Jones books, including a lot of those that have been reviewed so far. So I'm excited about that. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you soon. Bye.